This is your welcome and orientation video for Music Appreciation Online, MUS 205, just to show you where everything is in Brightspace, go over the syllabus, all that good stuff. So one of the first things you should do is click over here and go to the syllabus. The class meets online, check the contact information, make sure to read everything. The textbook is Understanding Music by Jeremy Yudkin. Uh, you may have an online version. If you have a physical, like a hard copy, it should be the one with the blue cover, the 8th edition. Online one is just fine. Either are fine. Here are sort of how the course is going to be set up. There'll be reading questions, some music critiques. I'll explain all these in a little bit. There's some quizzes, tests, and a final exam. Uh, if you've had friends who've taken this course before, the deadlines are going to be a little different. We're doing a different thing this semester. The course is divided up into units. So the first 2 weeks of the semester will have a welcome section. You'll take a syllabus quiz and you'll complete chapter 1 assignments. And then after 2 weeks, the semester that section, that unit, welcome unit, will close. And then you'll start on unit 1. You could start ahead of time. You're always welcome to work ahead of time. So basically, as you go through the semester, you'll be in a unit, and once that unit is complete, once that deadline is passed, it's closed. You can't access those assignments anymore. You get a 0 on it. So just make sure you stick with everything along the way. Um, so just get started. And the schedule is down at the bottom of the syllabus. It's also all throughout Brightspace. Deadlines are all over the place. So you should be able to see that. But that's just an important thing. Once that unit deadline has passed, any quizzes in that unit, tests, and assignments will close, and you'll just get a 0, and there'll be no late work. But each unit is about a month, so there's a little bit of flexibility. The first unit is a little shorter just because of the welcome unit as well. It's an online class, but there is an attendance policy. Attendance means you're turning in work. And so if you're not regularly turning in work, you're not engaged with the class, and just try and get something in once a week. Otherwise, we may have to, reach out to the registrar and have you removed from the class because you're just not taking the class at that point. If something is going on, emergency, anything like that, just contact the professor. Just reach out, right? Um, if you're confused, reach out. If there's some life event, you don't always have to give every detail. If you're not comfortable, that's fine, but just reach out. Let us know, hey, this is what's going on. Um, no artificial intelligence in this class. Don't use it. It's not going to do a good job anyway. Just don't use it. It'd be an academic integrity violation, and it'll probably drive your grade down because that's not what we're doing in this class. All of the work you do is your own, so don't work. There's no group work. Don't do group work. So read through this whole thing. Some of this stuff you've probably read a million times if you've taken anything here before. There's the AI policy, all that stuff. If there are any disabilities, reach out to the provost, Dr. Russell, and he'll walk you through the process. You can email, you can call the office, you can walk down to his office, and just work out with him, and then they'll contact us, and it's no big deal. If you need any mental health issues, reach out to the appropriate people, all those things. So this is at the bottom of the syllabus. This is an important bit of information. So all assignments are going to be due Sunday nights. So 11:59, basically 11:59 p.m. Sunday night. The unit deadlines are hard deadlines. After that, they aren't. Nothing will be accepted. The only changes from that schedule is the final exam closes on a Thursday night. So that's the last day of finals. It's going to close at 11:59 p.m. on December 11th there. But otherwise, just sort of stick with the Sunday night plan. So just to show you, sort of explain how this is set up, if you have questions, just send an email. We're currently in the course welcome unit. Everything from this unit needs to be completed by August 31st. So on August 30th, you can still turn things in. You're fine, right? But I wouldn't wait until the last second just because of technology and all those things. Just stick with everything. So your first thing you do is, of course, welcome. You're doing this right now, right? Read the syllabus, do all that. There's a syllabus quiz. I'll show you where everything is. And the recommended completion date for this first portion of the welcome unit is the 24th. All right, so try and get it in by that. But if you get this done by the 25th or 26th, it's fine, as long as it's before the 31st. And then you have the first chapter. So you're going to complete all the stuff for the first chapter. You read, you answer the questions, you take a quiz. And all that has to be done by the 31st. And then that brings you into Unit 1. And it's kind of the same thing. There are recommended dates. Use those dates to keep you on task. But the big important date is, in this case, September 14th. So at 11:59 p.m., that's a Sunday night, September 14th, everything in this unit closes and it's done. All right, so you have like about a month to get that all that stuff in, right? And then Unit 2 would continue on. Now, say you're like really charging ahead and you get this stuff done and it's the first week of September, you're welcome to move on and do things from Unit 2. You're welcome to work ahead to a point. You just can't be behind. It's too far, right? And then Unit 3 would be the same. And then Unit 4 is the last unit of the semester, which closes at basically the end of the semester, right? End of classes. And then finals would open up. The final exam is going to open up on an early Friday morning, right after classes end, and it will close that night, or the night of the end of the semester, end of classes, or end of finals on the 11th. And so basically for each unit, there's just a couple things. You're going to read a chapter, or read some chapters, usually 3 or 4. For each chapter, there'll be some questions, some chapter questions at the end of each chapter. It says, think about it. I'll explain you the guidelines here in a bit. There'll be a quiz. It's a reading quiz. And once the semester goes on, there'll be these recording critiques where you listen to some music and respond in certain ways. I'll show you the guidelines here in a bit. And then after your 3 or 4 chapters for the unit, at the end of that, there is a unit test. So all of these assignments and all these tests, except for the final exam, are just, you take them open book. Have your book handy. For the reading questions, go look up the answers, go find them. For the quizzes, have them handy. For the recording critiques, have your book handy. Everything can be found in your book. Just use your book. Don't Google it. Don't use ChatGPT. Just use your book. Everything's in there. Everything's built around it. The only thing that's different is the final exam will not be open book. There's notes all over Brightspace about that, so hopefully you'll be aware of that. So the final exam will just be closed book, no notes, no book, just from your understanding the material and your memory and just studying and learning the stuff. But everything else up to that point, just use the book, reference the book. All right, just to show you where things are, where you can find everything. So there's a couple ways you can find things. If you go to content, you can find each unit is divided up. So right now I have the welcome unit open here, and you can just go click on every little thing, right? And then there's Unit 1, and then Unit 2, and so on, right? And so you can just work your way through the class like this. Everything is under content, as long as you just hit every little thing and make sure to turn in something for every little thing. You can do it like that. You can also go to assignments and quizzes. Some things are assignments and some things are quizzes, and you can find everything sort of set up. You can see that there is that due date is that recommended due date, but the unit closes. You see where it says ends on September 14th. That means it's gone, right? So I'd like you to complete that by about the 7th, but it better be in by the 14th. All right, so that's how you can sort of organize yourself and keep yourself on task. Again, if you have questions, ask. Same thing with quizzes. Just to show you, right? This shows, okay, this is when you should do it. You should have it done by the 24th. It's available until the 31st. It won't count against you if you take this on the 28th or whatever. That's fine. If you try and take it on September 1st, it won't be there and you have a 0. And the first course guide quiz is unlimited. Everything else, you just get 1 attempt, right? All right, so just some of the assignments, just so you can see how some of the assignments work. There's just a couple different kinds of assignments. So some of them here, let's the reading questions. Let's start with the reading questions. So at the end of each chapter, there is something that says, think about it. This is chapter 1. This document, by the way, is in Brightspace. You can read along. It's under reading question guidelines right there. It says, think about it. It has 3 questions in this case. You're going to answer those questions. I would like you to put the question or like a little summary if the question's too long, it's annoying to write, that's fine. But just so I know what question you're answering, sometimes people have a different book or start answering crazy questions. It's helpful to know what you think you're answering to make sure they align with what I think you should be answering. And so then you would put your answer, and I want you to cite the section of the text that it comes from. For most cases, you can just give me a page number. This past summer, I ran into people, some editions of the book online. Sometimes it doesn't always include page numbers. Sometimes it does. Include at least the section it comes from. Some information to tell me where you got that information. Almost all of these questions from Think About It are just find it in the textbook. There's a few where you have to like give your opinion on something. If it's all just your opinion, then just give your opinion. You don't need to cite the text. But otherwise, cite the text. You don't have to directly quote the text. If you do, make sure you put it in quotation marks, all that good stuff. And to cite it, just put the page number or something where I can find it. I know you're going from the textbook. You don't have to tell me the name of the book. I know what the book is. Don't go to Google. Don't go to ChatGPT or any of those things. Just use the textbook. It all just lines up really nicely with it. So if there was a question where you should be citing and you didn't cite, you get a 0 on that question. It's that simple, right? Don't use outside sources. Don't use AI. Do some of your own thinking. So those are the think about it questions at the end of each chapter. Once we hit chapter 4, you'll have recording critiques, and the information is found right here, recording critique information. Here are the guidelines, here's the rubric, here's the list. Let me show you what everything looks like. So the guidelines, you are going to answer basically 6 questions about this recording. So for the first one will be the medieval period. I'll show you where your lists are and all that stuff in just a second. So what I would recommend is you just go in and copy this into your own document right here. This whole section up through 6 and into your own document. And you're going to answer your questions here and so on. And I just moved it. All right, so the first one, you're just going to copy and paste the link and the compose. I need all this information, period, composer, work link. Otherwise it starts getting marked down because I don't know what necessarily you think just to make sure you know what you're actually studying. All right, so then you're going to describe what it sounds like. Try and use musical terms as you are learning them. Do your best. You might struggle with them some. Sometimes it's hard to write about music. That's okay. This is not where you comment whether you like it. You're just describing what the music sounds like. Just accept the music as it is. You might love it, you might hate it. Describe what it sounds like. Then you are going to relate, this is the next section right here, what you heard, relate it to your reading. Cite the page numbers. Again, for some editions of the textbook, you might have to cite some in some other way, give like the section it comes from. But I should be able to go to the textbook and find where you found that information. So you are going to attempt to relate it. You're not going to use other sources. This is directly from the text. Some of the later recordings are going to be a little bit trickier to connect. Some of you may just have to contrast. This is what I read about and was very different than what I heard, and this is how it's different, and that's fine too. The next section, you're going to describe your personal experience. Did it remind you of something? Make a connection with the music and just describe what it brought to mind when you listened to the music. The next section you're going to present an opinion on the music. Do you think it's good music? Don't tell me that it's good music because it must be because it's being studied in a class like this. It's important music. It might not be good or not. It's your choice. And don't just also say that it's bad because I don't like it because it sounds weird. Right? So you're going to hear some music you haven't heard before. Make an opinion, discuss why you think it's good, and try and keep the focus not on the performance, because most of these performances are really high quality performances, but on the music itself. The people performing this music are really good at what they're doing. They might be playing music that you just think is terrible. That's fine. describe why you think it's terrible. And then the last one, a lot of this course sort of tracks with church history, and I want you to discuss how the music, your example, plays into that. Some cases it'll be a completely secular work, some cases it'll be a church work, sometimes it's somewhere in between. I want you to just discuss that and think about how that changes your understanding of the music. It should be about a page. Maybe it's a little longer, maybe a little shorter, but in order to answer all these questions, it's going to take about a page. And obviously, again, don't use any of the AI sources. The point of this assignment is for you to listen to the music and talk about your experience in listening to it. An AI can talk about it and sound really intelligent, but it actually didn't listen to the music, and it shows up in the writing. It also just makes up stuff. It just makes up stuff all the time. So listen to the music thoughtfully, complete each section carefully. You're going to get a good grade. If you leave stuff out or you don't listen to it and you try and kind of fake your way through it, you won't get a good grade. It's pretty simple. All right, so that's how you do the recording critique. You can see my rubric here. This is how it will be graded. You can go check it for yourself. You can just kind of get an idea of how things will be graded. I always like having rubrics. Where did I click on the wrong thing? Okay, what are you going to listen to? So you're going to click on this thing that says recording lists under recording critique information, and it brings up a document. It'll probably look like this for you, and there will be a link. You follow that link to a Google Drive. You may need to be signed into your BPC account. I'm not sure. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And you're going to end up on a list that says, or a folder that says 25 FA recording lists. We got 2 sections here. Make sure, just check your section. You click on your section and you find your name and you click on your name, and it should have your personal list. It should have the periods. So when you're doing chapter 4 medieval period, do the medieval recording. It has a composer, sometimes is not really known. For example, Gregorian chant, it's just kind of anonymously known as the work name and the link, right? And for that first question where I said identify, you would just copy and paste that whole thing into the document. That's it. And you get full credit if you do that. And then you click on the link and you'll have your recording.
Yes.
And you listen to the recording. Listen to it carefully. If at any point some of the links don't work, we use YouTube just because it's convenient. Everyone can access stuff really easily, but sometimes stuff breaks. Just send an email and you'll get a new link. Don't use someone else's stuff. Don't track down your own recording. Just send an email, say this thing broke, please send me a new link. And it's no big deal. We'll just get you a new link. So make sure you use your list, right? So if that's not your name, right? If you click on someone else's list and start doing their list, you won't get credit, right? Make sure you do your list. Everyone has their own list, their own recordings. Also, if you check, I would check shortly after watching this video and make sure your name's in the list. If you got added to the course after I made these lists, or if something funny happened in Brightspace or MyWeb or just I messed up, your name won't be here. Just send an email, you'll get a list. No big deal. So just double check soon, pretty soon. As far as I can tell, as of August 2nd, this list is good. But, sometimes I make mistakes. So if you can't find your name or if something's broken, sometimes it does weird stuff where you open this and you try and click on these links and they won't open. And it just does weird stuff. Just let me know and we'll fix it. Just send an email. When in doubt, communicate things. So if something's broken, everything may work today, and then 2 months from now, the link you need may be broken. Just send an email. All right, so those are the recording critiques. And those are the reading guide. That covers that. The only other things is you'll have quizzes at the end of each chapter you read. Again, they're open book. Some of them are really short. It's like 2 or 3 questions. If you miss a question, you'll get it'll get like a 66 on the thing. Don't panic. You get enough of them done, it kind of all works itself out. They're just sort of short reading checks. Again, just to make sure you do the reading. Have the book open when you take the test. When you go to do the final exam, There is a pre-test that will open up sort of the week before the final exam, just so you can kind of see what the questions will look like, and also work out the HonorLock stuff. If you've never used it, it's a chance to work it out. HonorLock is a proctoring service if you're not familiar, so it'll just make sure that everyone's sort of on the same level. No one's able to cheat, so for the honest people, you don't have to worry about other people cheating and get, none of that stuff will happen. So it's just a proctoring service. And then the final exam will open up sort of as finals week, and it will close on the last day of finals. There's also unit tests. Unit tests are open book. Everything's open book until the final exam. And there is a study guide, by the way, already there. There's basically 3 kinds of questions. There's everything you need to know. It tracks with the book really pretty consistently. So as long as you go through the whole semester, think about the music, listen to the music, you're fine. One other thing, and then we'll wrap it up here. So if you are, let's say we're in Unit 1, and we're in Chapter 2, maybe there's not. So yeah, so Chapter 2, we're Unit 1, Chapter 2. The book makes reference to recordings. At one point with the physical textbook, they may have like sent out a CD or something. I have links to the recordings. If one of these links break, just send me an email. I'll fix it for you. But the book will make reference to these recordings. This is really, you don't have to write anything, say for this example, water music. It's just when you go to read about water music in the book, here's a link, you can listen to it. That's all it is. Your recordings for your critiques are on your list. All these chapter recordings are just to help you understand the material, and you can listen to them. That's it. They're to help you understand the material as you read the textbook. Again, if you have any questions, just send an email. And the first thing you should do, if you haven't done it yet, is go take this course guide quiz. It's basically everything that's already been talked about. You can take this one quiz as many times as you want. Every other quiz, you just get one shot. This should be 100. It's just, some of the questions are just have one answer. It's really just to make sure you understand exactly what's expected in the class. If you have any questions, just please send an email, and have a good semester.